bro. You go Dre, but you can call me Dre. And today, bro, I did something pretty big. Shout out to you guys. I'm here on Slim's channel, here with a deck profile for y'all. I just played in the TCG 3v3 for a case tournament, I believe it was. 3v3 case tournament for Photon Hypernova. And me and my team got first. Yeah, we were Kashtira, Sword Soul Kashtira. We ended up getting first place, got a bunch of cases. Yeah, and I wanted to go ahead and give a couple shout outs first. So first things first, shout out to our sponsor, Top Choice Gaming. Shout out to my other sponsor, yugioh. Rudy always giving me the deck so that way I can actually play it for the day. Shout out to Jose for being mom in middle B seat. He was basically going all the way through. Shout out to Richard for carrying us throughout Swiss. And I did my thing in Top Cut. We went kind of crazy, but yeah, this is gonna be my Kashtira list for you guys here on Slim channel. And oh yeah, shout out to Slim the OG, the real man, MVP. Shout out to you, bro. It's been a long time since I've been on your channel. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Am I good? Cool. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the main deck. We played 40, obviously. 3 Fenrir, not too much that we need to talk about this card, dude. It's beautiful for baiting out cards. You gotta play 3 of it, it's so good. Triple Unicorn. Unicorn obviously is just a good card in general. It's able to get you started. This is the one you want to see more than Fenrir, honestly, these days. At least to start off, so that way you can grab either Birth, you can grab Theosis, and you can get into your plays and get into your extenders. 3 Rise Heart. Rise Heart's crazy. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing if people were to cut this down to 2. I also wouldn't mind seeing, like, you guys, when you're siding, making sure that you're taking 1 out, because you don't really want to see multiple of these going second. The card's just really good. It's obviously your extender, and it banishes a card from your deck, so it goes kind of crazy in that sense. 1 Tearlament Kashtira, 1 Scareclaw Kashtira. These guys are the extenders. You want to play 1 of each, only because when you have the Theo and you need to get multiple attributes, having a water and having an earth as an option in the deck is pretty nice in order to be able to FTK or OTK your opponents. Also, if you have Scareclaw Kashtira and then Unicorn and Fenrir on the board with map up, that's 2 attributes and it's enough for game. So it hits 81 damage completely. As long as, they're under a certain threshold or they don't have like an actual play to go into. But yeah, this is still pretty important though. Having both extenders is nice. You can just always side 1 out during game 2. I think it's fine. Or game 2, game 3. Just having the extenders is nice for you. Triple Nibiru. This is the card of the format, dude. I shit you not. The entire tournament, I did not resolve it. Personally, it got negated if I activated it or I just never saw it. And I got nibbed like 5-6 times. Like I was getting nibbed like left and right. So this is the card of the format. You have to play it for that reason because it beats the Kashtira deck completely. And there was just so many times where I almost got blown out and so many times where I was able to play through it a little bit. So it just depends on the way that they activate the nib, but you have to play this card. The card's too good, at least currently in the format. 3 Ash Blossom. Obviously, Ash Blossom's good. The most important thing is that it's a protectant against Book of Eclipse. So if they eclipse you, you just end up ashing it, or you can Prosperity when you're doing your combo and look for it like at the end of your combo. Because a lot of times you'll have full combo already with Prosperity in hand. So you'll just Unicorn, do your combo to deck thin a little bit, and then you'll go ahead and activate Prosperity to look for the Ash, so that way you can protect yourself from Eclipse. Yeah, and then that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. We have 1 Terraforming into 3 planets. Obviously, you got to play the planet. The planet's just good. Pure Kashtira, this card's broken. Remember that you can also pop your own Shangri-Ira during your turn or during your opponent's turn. So standby phase, bring out a monster, then trigger planet, pop Shangri-Ira, Shangri-Ira protect itself, and then it'll get something banished. A Rise Heart trigger to be able to get that material underneath them just in case. Okay, so remember you can do stuff like that. It's a good card though. Triple Theosis, shout out to Richard. He was saying like he wants to cut this down to 2. I think the card's a little too important, but yeah, I can understand why people would think it's ass, only because having to have a monster on the field sucks. Like that hella sucks. Having to have a monster on the field kind of sucks. A lot of times they'll eclipse it or they'll do something to it. But even still, like if you have a lot of the cards and like they're hand trapping or they're impriming or they're doing stuff to your Kashtiras, if you have this for the extender, it's still big. So I think it's still a 3 of. You could probably think of cutting it down a little bit though. 3 of Birth. This is the only Kashtira spell that I want to cut down. If anything, I would probably cut it down to 2, only because seeing multiples of it can be really bad, especially since non-activate, it's a use. So if they negate it, you're kind of shit out of luck if you have multiple in your hand. It ends up just being a dead brick. But other than that, it's like one of the best cards in the deck. Like you kind of need to see it. So it's an option. You can always side it out as well too while you're playing. What I think is the card of the format, 3 Talents. I think Talents is still great. Everyone's hand trapping you, everyone's nibbing you. When they nib you, you at least have Talents to either rebuttal with your draws, or most importantly, you can see their hand, and you can do something with that to be able to stop them from playing. But Talents is big. It's no Thrust currently. I think a lot of the times in testing, I tested Thrust a lot. I think in Kashtira, Thrust isn't the move, only because talents, a lot of the times, you just wanted it to be talents. There isn't anything really that you want to set in this deck except like Theosis, I guess, that you can grab. And if they have no monsters on their side of the field, like you're kind of fucked. So it doesn't really matter. You probably just want to end up using talents to be talents itself. So the 3 Prosperity, this card's crazy. It's just kind of bad in the mirror. In the mirror, make sure you side it out so that way you don't banish a bunch of cards off of Diablosis. 3 Book of Eclipse, card's crazy. You have to main them. It outs multiple boards, and it outs the Kashtira board mostly. Hell important. And onto the traps. 3 Imperm. Imperm's obviously good. And then the 1 Big Bang. Fuck this card, bro. I shit you not, I saw this card in my hand every fucking game. I saw it in my hand every game 3 in Swiss. Every game 3 in Swiss, I was opening Big Bang. That shit was ass, bro. God. Tell me about it, man. All right, cool. Onto the extra deck. I ended up making sure that it complemented my side deck because a lot of times you end up prosperitying out of a lot of things. But Lingeribo, double Lingeribo, because I do play Ibly, and when people Ibly me, I don't want them to be able to Diablosis, just take out the Lingeribo, and then I'm like shit out of luck. A lot of people are playing Ibly, and it's a good card. Just make sure you have the double Lingeribo, so that way you don't hard lose to people when they normal summon Ibly on you, and you're able to get rid of it yourself. 1 Infinitrack Goliath. This card's really good. When you banish it off of Prosperity, you can just put it underneath your Arise Heart, and it makes it as a machine unaffected by monster effects, or indestructible by card effects. It's pretty good. It makes it so like Dark Hole isn't as like amazing as it could be. It's just a good card, you know. 1 Donner Dagger for Hire. I swear to God, dude, this card's insane. Diamond Direwolf goes crazy. It opens up so many plays. Just make sure you remember that it only pops monsters. It doesn't pop back row. So I had made that mistake against Labyrinth, and it ended up costing me like the game because I thought I could just pop the back row, and then I ended up like just not being able to. And I was like, oh, dude, I fucked up. So I ended up fucking up that on, I think it was game 1 or something. But it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, this card's insane. It ends up clearing up a lot of stuff. So onto the Xyz monsters. Obviously, double Rise, double Shingri Era. You can see yourself bouncing this up so a little bit more. Only because you always want to see a Rise Heart, or because of how many times you're banishing stuff. But you probably don't need it. I didn't need the 3rd one. I didn't need the 3rd one of the Shingri Era either. But just make sure you're always ending on this and ending on this somehow. If you don't want to get Lava Golems, just end on the Rise Heart. Make sure you can do it that way. But yeah, these cards are good. A Rise Heart's crazy. Make sure you remember it's once per chain effect. It's mandatory. Double Big Eye. Big Eye goes insane. You want to do 2, so obviously this doesn't get Diablosis. So yeah, so this way this doesn't get Diablosis. Make sure that, what's it called? You're able to take a lot of their monsters. If you get 1 out off of Prosperity, then you can make sure you just basically break their entire board with it. It's just a good card in general. Find a way to put Zeus over it if you have another Xyz, you know. Double Zeus. You just don't want them to be able to banish the Zeus side of your deck. Zeus is just crazy. It's just a good card. It outs the Kashtira board fully. It kept me in the game against the mirror, even though I had no business staying in that game. You know what I mean? It kept me in the game anyways. Still pretty good. The 1 of Dracossack. This card might not be necessary, honestly. It was good. Yeah, it was okay. It came up like once, and it didn't really matter because it could have been anything to bait out something. You know what I mean? So it might not be amazing. It might be better in Cherubini builds. I don't see it being like great. It's just another out to like things. So just in case if you need to pop something else, Donner not being able to pop a monster, this is able to pop anything, you know. So Dracossack's probably okay. It's just an out for boards. I never really made it though. Red Eyes Flare, never made it, but you know, it's only for wholesome purposes. Fully wholesome, you know, I'm not trying to burn people one time, I swear. And then 1 Diablosis, the Mind Hacker. This card's insane. If anything, I might bump this up to 2. Maybe either take this out or take out the Dracossack. I want to be able to Diablosis. I want to be able to double Diablosis. Like, this card's just good. Being able to banish on their turn, if they don't out this, if they don't Book of Eclipse this, being able to banish on their turn, it just ends the game. Like, it's just basically the end of the game. Because you start banishing half of their deck, and then you're locking their zones at the same time. Like, how are they going to play it? You know? It's just hella good. And that's the extra deck, and then all of the tokens. They say you keep track of zones, but I wasn't allowed to keep track of zones, so I didn't. But yeah, shout out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Lastly, the side deck, and I think this is the most important part. I think the side's really important in Kashtira because of the way that people are playing against you. So you got to make sure you're playing for a full match. Ibly was crazy. Ibly answers Nibiru. It answers evenly matched. It just answers people special summoning things in general. If people are still playing Tier Limit, it answers Hovness. It answers Lava Golem, like when it's on the board. It's just really good. Most people, the only issue with this card is that people are prepared for it. It's the only issue. Other than that, like, it's basically an FTK because you summon Unicorn and you normal summon the Ibly, it's just wraps. You make Lingeribo, and then you send it to put it on their side of the field. Not only are you locking their zones, but you're also putting a Ibly on their side of the field. It's just crazy. It's just so good. Yeah, shout out to Italy. Won me a couple games. Won me the game final actually. In the finals, it won me that last game. Triple Crossout Designator. This card, I needed an answer for specifically for Nibiru and for Book of Eclipse. I wanted to play Judgment, but paying half was really scary. Not only that, it's slow. So I wanted to be able to use this for not just Book of Eclipse, but also for also for Nib, also for Ash. Multiple answers. It ended up protecting me from Nib in round 1. It was pretty good. It was honestly decent. I wouldn't take it out. I would keep playing it. If I were to keep playing a pure cash build, I would keep playing this card. It just protects you from the bullshit that's in the format right now, man. Some Spice, double Econ. This card is crazy. This card is crazy, dude. Basically what you do is like when you summon a Kashtira, you activate its effect. They're always trying to do something to your Kashtira, so you can just Econ take in the mirror, be able to grab their Rise Heart. Being able to take their board is way bigger than being able to break their, than being able to negate their board, right? Like if you can take their monsters, you can take their Rise Heart, especially since they're most likely triggering the Shangri-Ira. You can put a Rise Heart over it, you can make Zeus over it, you're breaking the board every time. So going second, this just gives me a more inherently good going second option. So, enemy controller, crazy dude, so good. Triple Cyclone, Cosmic Cyclone, and 1 Duster. I wasn't able to see these most of the time. They didn't really go in very often. But if you play against Runic, you play against Labyrinth, you have to see these cards. I liked Cosmic. If anything, they might change to Lightning Storms. I wanted Cosmic for the Runic deck though, because the Runic deck's getting good again, so it might change in the future. This could be probably like better back removal. And lastly, my favorite Spice of the deck, Eradicator. This card was the MVP. This card was crazy. Going first, basically what you do is you end on Shangri-Ira, and then you end on Diablosis. So what you'll do is you'll have the 2 Xyz monsters, if I can find them. You'll end on Diablosis, and then you'll end on Shangri-Ira. Block some zones, but then it doesn't matter because you're going to make a Rise Heart over it, right? So you end up making a Rise Heart over the Shangri-Ira, and then you set Eradicator. After you activate, you tribute off the Diablosis, call spells. Now, they don't have any spells in their hand to be able to out your thing unless they chain Book of Eclipse. And if they have Lava Golem, you only have 1 monster. So it ends up playing around Lava Golem, playing around Lava Golem, playing around Sphere Mode, playing around all of the cards that like they try to overextend into. And in the Kashtira matchup, like all of their good cards, they play like 20 spells in the deck. So you end up eradicating them and calling for their spells, and they just can't play against you, man. They just can't. And yeah. Because basically, not only that, you can use it against Labyrinth, you can use it for the traps, for the trap decks as well too. It's pretty good. So, yeah. So that's gonna be basically the deck profile. Again, shout out to Slim, shout out to TCG for sponsoring and all this stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.